Hola from Lisbon in Portugal, and welcome to restart day in the Volvo ocean race with a fleet of 6 yachts about to embark on the penultimate ocean leg to Lorient in France. It's time for the boats to leave the dock and prepare themselves for the start at 1 o'clock local time. And amazingly, after 8 months since the race began, 4 boats are still vying for top honours. What an amazing place this is for the boats to depart from, because this is Lisbon with its amazing maritime heritage. This is the monument to the discoveries. Henry the Navigator at the front, holding that carrack, which was the forerunner of the Guardians. Behind him, the guy with the beard, about 2 back, the legendary Vasco da Gama, commander of the first ships to sail from Europe to India, and they opened up a direct sea route to India. And these are the modern seafarers, if you like. These are the cutting-edge sailors which Vasco da Gama and his lot were back in the 14th and 15th centuries. This is the team from Sanya, along with some of the guys. The guy in the green hat, for instance, there, he's off race leader Groupama. So the sailors getting ready, and I think in the box with me here, Peter Lester. I think, Peter, there's a big difference now as we look at the Belém Tower, UNESCO heritage site, and the sail training ship from the Portuguese Navy, and that amazing 25th of April bridge. But back in the village, I think there's a different kind of atmosphere now, isn't there? Because in a funny kind of way, the sailors have done the hard yards. The race is developing, there's a lot of tension because it's all so close, but there's not that sort of Southern Ocean frisson of danger.
No, but also the realisation that probably they're within 9 or 10 days. They've only got 9 or 10 days left at sea, and there's a pecking order being established, Martin. And Groupama winning yesterday, I really think they look very strong on the weather forecast for this leg. Sets up very well for a reaching boat. Groupama is probably the pick of the bunch. As we look at this team, the supporters from Telefonica.
Well, they were loud and vocal yesterday, but to no avail. Diego there is Diego Frutuoso, who's the media crew member on board. I wonder if that's mum or whatever, I don't know, but they were very vocal yesterday, but as I say, to no avail, because for 3 in a row, the 3rd race in a row, the Spanish boat ended up last, the one-time leader. This is the view across the Tagus River, which will be the start of the race course here. And as we say, you know, this has just been the scene of so much amazing history. The Belém Tower that we look at there, UNESCO World Heritage Site, finished in 1519, and it was part of a defence system at the mouth of the river, and also served as a ceremonial gateway to Lisbon. And talking of ceremonies, this is the start of the traditional ceremony of sending off. Mike Sanderson leads his team Sanya down to the dock. Behind him we see Teng Jianghai here from who's Tiger, who's the first Chinese sailor to compete in the Volvo ocean race. And you know, what a great scene this is too. Talking of pomp and circumstance and tradition, hard to go past that, really. Excellent. I think that it is a different atmosphere, isn't it? It's more relaxed. There's an underlying tension, but they've been doing this now for 8 months.
Yeah, but I think it's a good point, Martin. It's a different atmosphere even to yesterday morning. I felt the tension was on. There was plenty of pressure, and you had to believe before yesterday's race that something was going to happen on the water, and we were not disappointed. But today, I just get the feeling it's a little bit more relaxed. The teams are back into ocean racing mode. And for the Volvo Ocean Race for this edition could actually be decided on this leg. I think this is a pivotal leg for the teams as we look at Team Sanya going down. And you know, there's looking this morning, the shore teams are tidying up the bases for dismantle, and the weather gurus are giving final instructions to the teams as we look at Ian Walker. And so the atmosphere around the dock this morning is just a little bit different and not quite as edgy as it was yesterday morning.
Well, you could see it and you could feel it there, and that's Ian Walker giving us the thumbs up as he lines his crew up, ready to parade their way down onto the dock. here in Lisbon. And as you were saying yesterday in the Ueras import race, that's Adil Khalid, who's one of the under-30s, 23-year-old. Each boat has 3 under-30s. He's the first Emirati sailor taking part, and he's getting a bit of pole position here, courtesy of Ian Walker, as a sort of ambassador, if you like, for the Abu Dhabi entry. And I think it tells a big story, that, doesn't it, Ian and Adil Khalid, because Ian himself has said this boy has come of age.
Well, he certainly has. He's a young Emirati, as Martin has just said. He's been to the Olympics in the laser class. He was in Beijing. And how we've seen him mature and change during the Volvo Ocean Race.
Well, they say it was the Southern Ocean that did it.
He certainly, when he left Auckland, he was probably a bit of a greenhorn. By the time he got to Itajaí in Brazil, he'd been round Cape Horn, he'd been battered and bruised, and he will go home with many a good story to his fellow countrymen. As we look at the team from Abu Dhabi heading down to the dock, Ian Walker acknowledging the crowd, and of course Ian Walker and his team won the leg here into Lisbon.
I think it's a big weight off his shoulders in a way, because, you know, they've delivered at the import races. They delivered a leg victory despite having their boat broken, the mast dismasted, and then the boat absolutely smacked up in the Southern Ocean. And now they, you know, they've certainly sort of held their own, haven't they, and got some results on the board, and their sponsors must be pretty pleased. Up the coastline here, well, stunning coast it is too, as we look at the boys from Camper coming. And I guess of all the boats, this is probably the most disappointing, or the most disappointed bunch of guys, because they've just never really managed to convert. One top of the podium place they've had so far, and that was in their home port of Auckland when they won the import race. But as we were saying yesterday, a lot of points left on the table by these guys, battling in the, I mean, mathematically they're still in with a chance, and we've been doing the maths, but you know, there are 4 crews still in contention mathematically, but the fact is that the 3 boats ahead of them are quicker.
Yeah, they are quicker, Martin, and with that, I think Camper, especially tactically, have probably taken a bit more risk than they would have liked, and they really, in many ways, haven't really sailed to their full potential, and I think they'd even say that they've been a bit disappointed in their performance, as they acknowledge the crowd, and mathematically they've still got a shot for the Volvo Ocean Race, but really practically it would take a pretty major mistake by the 3 boats ahead of them for this team to get up. But Chris Nicholson, he will keep trying, as we see the team of Camper heading down to their boat. It was interesting, Martin, having Grant Dalton, who's the team leader for Emirates Team New Zealand. He is very focused on the America's Cup. But he made some pretty strong points about Camper's performance.
Yeah. Well, this is one bunch of guys who have really hit their straps. Kenny Reid and his crew have just got stronger and stronger in this race, and in a kind of in a little bit of a way, they've sort of sneaked under the radar a touch, haven't they? I mean, we've watched the green machine of Groupama rocket up to the top. We've seen the overall leaders for a long time, Telefonica, slide down and then quietly chipping away. Has been this crew from Puma Ocean Racing, powered by Berg. And I think you were saying you've been having a chat around the dock this morning, Pete, and when Groupama look over their shoulder, they're more concerned about this black and red boat coming at them than the blue one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the talk, that Groupama, who really are in the box seat, they see, I'm being told, they see this team, Puma, as the team that could topple them. Telefonica have had really 3 horror inshore races, and but Kenny Reid has been very accurate. Great finish to the race yesterday.
Nothing wrong with today.
There's a confident Kenny Reid, nothing wrong with today. Good day. We had a bit of a laugh yesterday that I'd suggested that maybe when we were watching the Champagne being handed out on Groupama, that there was a lot more to come on the French boat, and Kenny Reid heard me say that and promptly announced that no way, they're the ones who are going to be drinking the champagne.
I thought Puma's performance yesterday was fantastic.
Absolutely outstanding.
They were back in fourth spot, and they really got back to second. 2 very valuable points, and we might reflect on that.
Well, 2 very slick moves to get there
very,
as well.
Very smart. I mean, they probably were never going to win the race, but to get up to second was a great performance. As we look now at the Telefonica team, they're in second position. The pressure is really on Telefonica. They haven't performed really. They were so dominant, Martin, at the beginning of the race.
Absolutely.
And then they got to Auckland, and they really haven't fired a shot since. And their inshore performances with Itajaí, Miami, and now here in Lisbon have been poor. And they will be looking to turn that around.
Well, they need to get their mojo back somehow, because nobody could quite believe that they would sacrifice so many points in the import race. I mean, 3 last places in a row. You know, you'd never have written that one, would you? No,
you wouldn't. Martin, I think another point is overnight. Iker Martinez has come out in the Spanish press and been pretty damning of the umpire's decision yesterday, and really I think that reflects him being under pressure. It was a bit unusual to see someone come out, you know, these on-the-water umpire calls, you really just got to accept them and move on. But I think for Iker Martinez to come out so strong last night in the media, it's showing a man that's under the pump.
I think you might well be right there. He's looking fairly relaxed about it at the moment, but he must feel he's under pressure. And as we see Iker bringing up bringing up the rear of the fleet with his lad on his shoulders. I guess it's nice for the families now. They know this is going to be a short leg. They'll be back in a week or less into Lorient. You think it's going to be a pretty fast ride out there. What a nice little wave from the boy. We've seen some nice little family sights like yesterday with Mike Sanderson's lad at the wheel. You can hardly look over the bottom spokes. Very nice.
Nice to see the families involved. Now, there's a change, Martin. Iker with a black shirt on. I think right through the Volvo Ocean Race, we've seen him wearing the sky blue coloured shirt with the rest of the crew, but Iker today, he's dressed in black.
I wonder what
the significance of that is.
You could have dark thoughts on that count, but here we go with Frank Camas and Groupama. You know, there's just I know that they're leading, and that tends to colour you a bit, but there's just something about these guys that is confident and relaxed.
Well, they've just got better and better. Started off a bit rough out of Alicante down to Cape Town, remember, where they took really quite a big navigational punt down the African coast. But from there, they have just grown and grown, and really yesterday encapsulated that with a fine import race here. You know, they kept out of trouble, and you talked about that a lot, not getting in the mix with that turmoil off the line with Puma and Telefonica, and they capitalised on that. They did get past on the downwind, but then regained the lead just before Mark 1, and
smart sailing.
That was a big moment, and they led really beautifully pretty well from start to finish.
Really nice atmosphere here. I think it reflects the maritime heritage of this place, which is absolutely sensational. I love reading the history of it and imagining these guys heading out into what, of course, then was unknown. They just hadn't got a clue what they were going out into. And you'd have to wonder about, you know, the oceans teeming with weird creatures that nobody had ever set eyes on before. So that's all part of the history here, and also, you know, the people here are embracing this event. 30-something thousand here, I think 33,000 or so yesterday, and down here to watch the import race, which is good numbers and reflects the interest in the event here. And that's just, you know, the numbers within the village, the footfall within the village, not the, you know, all those who will be lining the banks of the Tagus River here in Lisbon. This is the Volvo Ocean Race village, which has proved such a draw card at all the venues that we've been to around the world.
So, ladies and gentlemen, all our teams are now...
It's getting ready to go. It's a bit of a ceremony here. They both leave in order of how they stand on the points table. So it should be Sanya heading out first, followed by Abu Dhabi, then Camper, Puma, Telefonica and Groupama, and we'll hear the teams all announced and of course the theme tunes for each. And the last one, if I remember rightly, will be the Groupama song. And it's just flying out of my brain. It's Highway to Hell, isn't it? That they've got,
well
I think.
Done. Well done, you picked that up.
From the Green Machine. So
I was talking to Terry Pippiday this morning, Martin, and he was commenting, very favourable, I knew, nicknaming Groupama the Green Machine. It brought a lovely smile to his face, and
well, I think it's a lovely look that she had. Now this is all part of the mural handover ceremony, where we've got the dignitaries from Lisbon handing over sort of ceremonially to the mayor of Lorient, or the deputy mayor of Lorient, and it's sort of like Olympic style passing the baton, really, and good to see how they go. Now one of these gentlemen, and I suspect it might be this one, but I'm not too sure, is going to be one of our jumpers, because another tradition in the Volvo Ocean Race in these restarts is that a couple of the teams have people on who will go out, enjoy the excitement of the start, and then they have to jump off, and that's pretty exciting for those who take part in it.
The dignitaries going down the cruise, down at Camper now, just acknowledging the teams. Knut Frosted there, who's the CEO of the organising committee for Volvo Ocean Race. As they move down, introducing the teams as we come to Kenny Reid and the team from Puma.
Well, the dignitaries that we do have here are Bernard Boisquet, who's the President Directoire Royal Grand Large Representation. So I think he's sort of a mayoral type of character. And Manuel Salgado is the Vice Mayor of the municipality of Brisbane, and he is going to be jumping off the back of Camper when the race gets underway. So all the pomp and ceremony that has become a regular event and is part of the tradition of the Volvo Ocean Race, which has established itself over its 39-year history since it was the Whitbread Round the World race. Amazing to think this race has been going for 40 years. Amazing the way that it has evolved. But always cutting edge. Knut Frostad sharing a bit of a joke with Ike Martinez. And now I'm just wondering, I suspect that might be Manuel Salgado. He'll be wearing something less formal, I'm sure, when he does his jump. Quite funny. Remember, was Ian Walker who saluted one of these guys one time, wasn't it? The salute was returned from one skipper to another. It was quite nice. I just can't remember
where that was. Was it?
Might have been. Was it an American-style salute? It might have been Miami.
Might have been in Miami, but
we haven't had a swimmer for a while, have we? Because where was it? Was that at Abu Dhabi when somebody actually fell in?
Fell in the water. I think that might have. Was it Abu Dhabi?
Enthusiastic departure, Abu Dhabi, I think it was.
That's right.
So that was
always
brought
on
a bit of a
cards.
smile.
Okay, well,
Frank Camas with his having a bit of a chat.
On the dock. They've now met with Groupama's sailing team.
Go, it says in green on that.
Cultural performance up there now, so we can get some reaction shots.
This is an absolutely gorgeous place, and this is the little island right out in the mouth of the Tagus River. That's going to be the sort of final sight for these guys as they head out of Lisbon and off towards the Azores.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
amazing group of volcanic islands in the famous Azores High.
With special participation of the Grupo Coral
Beautiful tunes.
Enrico da Casa de Volvo de Sampa and Tiago Clemente.
Absolutely stunning, and we've been given some real treats at the various ports that we've been to. It always amazes me that you can have one country butting up against each other for centuries and they can still be so distinctive. That was absolutely gorgeous. So we're going for the mayoral handover now, and Pete, we've seen a few cultural exchanges here, and surely the most extreme would have to have been in Sanya, I think, where we had those amazing Chinese dancers followed by the Maori from New Zealand, and that was a quite extraordinary handover, of a cultural handover. And this one, well, 2 European countries, but as I've just been saying, both very different in their own ways. So this is going to be the official handover ceremony. Bernard Boquet, President Directoire, Lorient Grand Large Representative Lorient, and Manuel Salgado, Vice Mayor of the Municipality of Lisbon. He hands over responsibility, Olympic style. Here's the flags being handed over. Portugal to France, that ceremony from Knut Frostad. Come on then, just let's see them unfold a little bit. And so the next responsibility for hosting goes from Portugal, from Lisbon in Portugal to Lorient in France. Tricolor, and I'm sorry you've got me on the name of the Portuguese flag, although there were plenty of them flying all around the city last night when the European Cup soccer was on. Wrong result for these guys though.
But it was pretty colourful, Martin. I was just up in the old town, and we managed to sit in a bar for a while with the local fans, and unfortunately they weren't very happy at the end.
They weren't.
Wow, talk about colourful supporters for their football team.
It was something, yeah.
They had a few I'm not necessarily a football follower, but every time Portugal got a chance.
Well, I'm with you there. I was in a lovely little restaurant again in the old town, and we got there quite late. And our table, I had my back to the wall underneath the TV, so all I was looking at was hordes of Portuguese looking over my head at the game, and the place would come to a standstill when they had a chance, but they couldn't convert them, so they went down 1-0 to Germany. But here we are with our sport. I think this is the most stunning place. I've lucky enough to have been up to Cascais, up the coast as well, which is one of the favourite sailing spot. Now the blessing of the fleet. Blessing of the fleet from Commander Licinio Silva, chaplain of the Portuguese Marines.
Em nome do Pai, do Filho e do Espírito Santo. Oremos. Ouvi imediatamente, Senhor, as vossas súplicas e protegei esta frota da adversidade dos ventos e da turbulência das ondas, de modo que amparada pelo vosso constante auxílio, os que nela navegarem, alcancem com êxito os seus empreendimentos e cheguem felizmente ao porto desejado. Por nosso Senhor Jesus Cristo, vosso Filho, que é Deus convosco na unidade do Espírito Santo. O Senhor dirija as vossas rotas para que vivais em paz e alcanceis a vida eterna. Amém. E abençoe-vos Deus Todo-Poderoso, Pai, Filho e Espírito Santo.
Commander Licinio Silva, chaplain of the Portuguese Marines, blesses the fleet. So there is actually a church here in Lisbon where sailors heading out to sea used to go and look for kind of blessing before they headed out. This is hard work. There's Merrick, young Merrick Sanderson, and
we have had our mayoral handover, and ladies and gentlemen,
Mike and his wife Emma, ocean racer in her own right, solo sailor. There's Emma Richards and Emma Sanderson. Portuguese flag up on this gorgeous sail training ship of the Portuguese Navy. Full colours, and the bridge in the background. 25th of April bridge. And it's a real sight here in, well, obviously a huge landmark here, called the 25th of April bridge. It used to be the Salazar Bridge after the former Prime Minister, but after the Red Carnation Revolution, I think it was in 1974, if memory serves me right, its name change. So first away will be Sanya. And as I said before, I mean, it is always hard when they're leaving the dock, going out to sea, and we know that the weather forecast is saying not too bad at the beginning, but blowing like hell at the end. But this is just a week-long trip, and it's not got the inherent dangers of something like the Southern Ocean. So, well, what have they got? Maybe Cameron Dunn. Cameron Dunn enjoying the moment, the tactician on board Sanya, and they're about to leave the dock. And incidentally, they'll be just got about maybe 10 days, as you were saying, more ocean sailing for this edition of the Volvo Ocean Race. An amazing how much hinge is on it still.
Oh, a lot. And this leg looks like about a 5.5-day leg, Martin. Relatively quick, because on the return from the Azores, it looks like they're going to get quite a lot of wind. There's a bit of a low coming across the Atlantic, and talking to Roger Badham this morning, meteorologist for Camper, he's saying the wind will increase. They could get up to 35 knots. Downwind running or screaming into Lorient, so it could be a very fast leg. And you know, we talk about they've been through the incredible conditions down in the Southern Ocean, but let's not underestimate, any time you start sailing these boats in 35 knots, there still is the risk of gear damage. And I'm sure all the teams, Sanya included, will be mindful of hard running conditions into Lorient. You know, it's the old, could be an opportunity for one of these teams. It's how hard do you want to push, how much risk do you want to take?
Sanya, the first boat, Team Sanya, first boat out of the dock here in Lisbon, heading out for the finish, heading out for the start, for the restart, and you know, all precedent correct now, the boat all squared away and sorted. So Mike Sanderson at the wheel, Cameron Dunn on his left-hand side there as they skirt out of the marina. Good crowds out here to enjoy this lovely breeze already out there. Peter, it's a sparkling day.
I was just looking at that, Martin, when we had that heli shot earlier on as Ian Walker waves goodbye to the team. George Salter, navigator on the back of the boat, he did a great job.
Well, he picked his way. I mean, we describe it as being snakes and ladders, that sort of coming through the Atlantic, and they did a fantastic job.
But the conditions just look perfect out on the course, where it looks like we might have a downwind or a reaching start up under the bridge. We'll talk about the course later on, I'm sure, but I think they're going to make a pretty speedy exit from Lisbon with the forecast.
And there's a guest on board, and a very, very famous one too. That's Luis Figo, and he's a Portuguese international who's a guest on board there. I wonder if we get a chance to read the sign on the back of it. I didn't quite catch that on the back of Camper. They had a big. There we go. The Life Lovers, as you see, that's Camper Life Lovers. On the back of the boat, both the flag and on the transom. the bright red of Camper supporters, the farewells, the Spanish-Kiwi collaboration, hoping that maybe there's a slice of good fortune waiting for them. They do feel that they've not exactly had the rub of the green, and you do always, I guess, hope that these things level out and eventually the karma says it's your time. And it certainly seems to be Puma's time at the moment. Quite outstanding performances of late to get them so well in contention. They climbed up yesterday to within 5 points of Telefonica, who are just 8 points behind Groupama.
Well, Martin, I look at Puma, and it was pretty loud and clear this morning from Groupama that they see Puma as the big threat. Along with Iker Martinez, he needs to refine form. But this league, even though it's a short one, 5 days, it's going to be a big. I think it's a big moment for Puma, Telefonica, and Groupama, and it could actually be the fuse that one of the teams will find to win the Volvo Ocean Race. Big send-off from the Spanish fans. It's been quite a big contingent here of Spanish supporters for Telefonica.
Pepe Uribe's driving the boat out for a change. Normally Iker's province. Wow, this is a great scene here in Lisbon. As Groupama leaves the dock and heads out towards the start line. So they head out and they get themselves organised and get the farewells out of their system, and then game faces on. Get the sails up, rigs tuned, and ready to do battle once again.
I'm sure it'll be close, Martin. You're not going to see one of these 3 boats spear off and take a fly-out, and we have seen that in previous leagues, but I'm sure Groupama, Puma and Telefonica will be tactically positioning themselves. It might actually create an opportunity for the likes of Camper and Abu Dhabi actually to do something a little bit different, although having seen the weather forecast and the route planning this morning.
Well, it looks it's playing right into the green machine's hands, that's absolutely for sure.
A lot of two-sail reaching, and that boat has been absolutely potent. With the looking at the forecast and looking at the conditions, you've got to believe Groupama must be a very happy team leaving here, because the conditions are this boat is fast, two-sail reaching. It seems to carry a little bit more marsh rate than the other 1K boats, and it is regarded as the fastest boat, crack sheets or two-sail reaching.
Saw the big sign there saying thank you for your visit in English and Portuguese on the gateway into the village. So we're going to wrap it up here now and let the boats get out there, get themselves, as I say, delving into their game faces. Huge amount at stake in this leg, and we look forward to bringing you the restart. It's going to be 12:45. We're back on our local time, and that's in just under an hour's time. We're looking forward to bringing you the restart here from this absolutely fabulous place in Lisbon. But for the time being, from Lisbon, a very good afternoon.